Hello, and welcome back to another edition of the Soul in My Soul podcast. This is Andeon. Soul in My Soul is where I talk about my experiences in life in Korean and Korean American culture from the perspective of somebody adopted into Korean culture. You can read the writings that I do on my website, WaygookinWay.com. That is WaygookinWay.com. So, the first few episodes were kind of a review of the posts that I've written at WaygookinWay.com that deal with various topics, but it mainly dealt with the topics that are viewed the most over the last year. And while I was doing that, I saw one topic got reviewed more and more frequently as of late. And so I wanted to revisit that topic. When searching for this question in Google, I came in 4th out of 400,000 results. And this takes us back to the 10th of October of 2016. The question deals with, are Korean women materialistic? This is a question that gets asked a lot by men from all over the world. For some reason, men have been under this impression that Korean women, excuse me, are not attractive or ugly stick figures, but now that Korea has been projected more into the mainstream of world media, there are more and more men that are looking at Korean women and think that they're gorgeous. They hear great things about Korean women, but they also hear that Korean women are very materialistic. And so, since more people seem to be interested in this topic as of late, I wanted to go back and review what I wrote. And so, there is a question of where does this perception come from that Korean women are materialistic? And so, just to break down some of the things that I put down as to why people feel that way. There are Korean men that complain about Korean women. It's been noticed over probably the past 10, 15 years that more Korean men have been open to marrying women that are not Korean. In fact, some make it a point to look for an Asian woman from a different country, maybe a poorer country than Korea, because they feel that she'll understand the culture a little bit more, but she'll be more humble and less materialistic of a person. So the complaints of Korean men about how much money and material things Korean women want do play a big role in this perception. Also, other Asian men that have dated Korean women, they often complain about Korean girlfriends wanting too much as far as material things, so that plays into that perception quite a bit. And even non-Asian men who date Korean women. This is just men who are finding these Korean women that they think are super gorgeous, but then they find out there's a price tag that comes with that, apparently. Being around materialistic Korean women. There's materialistic people in every race, every culture. Korean culture is obviously no exception. There are some Korean women that let it be known they have a taste for the finer things in life, and nothing less than that will be acceptable. They don't mind shopping at places that you don't necessarily know the price of the item, because if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Eating at the finest restaurants, driving inexpensive cars. So, that, I think, by the media is shown a lot sometimes as this is what Korean women are like. And so that plays a big role. The media. The model minority theory that Asian people will give up their culture, sell out their own people just so that they can gain material wealth and prosperity plays a part in that. Being around Koreans that are wealthy or pretending to be wealthy. The pretending to be wealthy part is, as we would say in English, keeping up with the Joneses. So trying to make it seem like one has a lot of money. Maybe they have an expensive car, but they can't afford it really, or maybe they live in an expensive neighborhood, but they have trouble affording it. They try to pay for everything just to make it seem like they're making a lot of money when the reality is that there isn't. Or sometimes Korean dramas play a big role in this. Some Korean dramas, you'll see the wealthy, handsome guy, and that's the only guy that any of the girls in the drama want to be with because of his money more than anything else and what it can buy and a type of lifestyle that it'll enable them to live. So there's different reasons for the perception of Korean women being materialistic. To let you know how bad it is, there was years ago a talk show that was popular in the United States, and there was a woman on there who was talking about her anger because she's Japanese, but people would ask her if she's Korean. And she was so offended by that because she felt that Korean women were very shallow, materialistic, and she didn't like the fact that people looked at her and that's the first thing they thought. So that's how bad the perception of Korean women can be. What is the reality? The reality, of course, is that they're materialistic people in every race, every culture, every country. So you'll definitely find Korean women that are materialistic. You'll find Korean American women that are that way. I know I've been in some areas where it looks like a BMW or Mercedes dealership when going to certain Korean events because that's what everybody had. And I remember talking to a friend about this, and he told me the part of the United States he lived in for a while, the teenagers would be disappointed if they didn't get a luxury European car for their first car. So you think about America, normally your first car is a clunker, so you'd appreciate a better car later on. But the young Korean Americans he were around, if they weren't in a Lexus, a BMW, a Mercedes, or something along those lines, then they felt like they were being gypped. So that does exist, but that's definitely not everybody. There's a lot, when you watch Korean dramas and you study Korean culture, there's a lot of romantic feelings, romanticizing, a lot of love that's there, and that's the main thing that many Korean women want. They want someone who's going to love them, who will provide and take care of them, but who's going to be there for them in every way, emotionally, spiritually. So to think that all Korean women are impressed by is the size of someone's bank account is definitely not reality. There are a number of Korean women that are going to be more concerned about how you treat them. Now, as far as Korea and the United States, sometimes things are different because in Korean American culture, it's sometimes the feeling of you came to the United States or your family came so you could have this opportunity to live a better life, and so you have to have these material things and you have to marry someone who's going to be materially well off, which is where that pretending to be wealthy thing comes into play. Because when you talk to people privately, they view things differently. But the perception that they put out there is one of materialism. So there's a lot of things that you see in the media. There's a lot of things that unfortunately Korean Americans or Korean people do when they're complaining that makes it seem like Korean women are one way, but the majority are not materialistic, are not rude, are not stuck up. Korean women can be very loving and kind, And at the end of the day, a Korean woman is a woman. So instead of judging her and looking at her based on the color of her skin and things of that nature, you really should just view her as a woman and get to know her for herself. If any woman of any race, if you're a guy, is impressed by your checkbook and what you can buy for them, you got to make a decision if you want to be with a person like that. If they're more impressed with your heart and how you treat them, then it says a lot more. But to answer the question, are Korean women materialistic? Just as much as women of any other race and culture. So, if you want to read the article, I will put a link in the description box down below. Please go ahead and check that out. While you're there, go ahead and check out other articles as well. There's over 100 articles that I've written answering different questions about Korean and Korean American culture. If there's a topic that I did not cover, but you want covered, you can email me at contact@WaygookinWay.com. That will be in the description box down below as well. So thanks again for tuning in. As always, please like and share this video. Also subscribe to the channel. You can click on the Soul in My Soul podcast, and then make sure you click the notifications so when a new episode comes up, you will be notified. Also, in the description box, you'll find the social media links where you can follow me, including my Kakao account, where you can Kakao me questions directly as well. Thanks again for tuning in, and always remember the best way to get rid of your nightmares is to have the courage to live out your dreams. Talk to you in the next one. Goodbye.